A dog.
Dogs. What's up, dude?
What's up, DA? It is an honor and it is a pleasure to be back here on Watch D.A. Live with some of the best and loyal listeners and viewers on the entire planet. I love the long hair. I love the look. I love that you got the NFL caliber, high quality video camera going here. I feel like I've made it. Forget the overnight on Infinity Sports Network. This is where you want to be.
We just keep leveling up. The Bourbon Belle said, you ever think about growing out your hair? I said, I really haven't ever grown it out long. She goes, you got really good hair. I go, you want me to? She goes, try it. So little by little tried it. It was a lot of awkward stages. This chat ground me up. I mean, really killed me. Like November, December, January. It was an ugly in between. And the D-aliens let me know. But it finally now came in, I would say the last 4 to 5 weeks. It's starting to really find its groove, its shape. You know how important it is to have the right hair for the right personality, for the right moment. And I appreciate you saying that. It's been a long, hard road, but we're finally getting to where we want to be.
We love that. And you got to keep going. That's...
Oh, yeah?
Sometimes there's going to be forks in the road. There's going to be hairs. There's going to be hairs out of place. But I'm glad you stuck through it. You're a grinder. And it looks phenomenal right now. I mean, you look like you're getting ready to go on the set of Grease and kiss Cherry Valance right on the mouth. That's The Outsiders. I don't forget the girl's name from Grease, but you get my point.
We had this comment come in from Psych Mamter. Pat Boyle is passionate about doing it. 100% correct. Doing it. Yeah, doing it. So you still have that rep.
Some things never leave you.
So before we get to Canadian Bacon, tell us about the new gig, about the overnight gig. I know that I had a lot of D-aliens that DM me, messaged me, mentioned me, and they were so happy that you got that job.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Once it became, once word got out, once it became official that Amy was going to be leaving, the applications, the process became open. And I obviously applied for it and, went through the process. Basically, what I think were unofficial auditions for the show, because there was some time before, that I got the show. There was some time in between Amy leaving and the show becoming official. So, yeah, there was what I thought were auditions. There was the interview process. I put my best foot forward. You know me, I'm a dog, so trusted in my abilities and my talent and everything that I've learned along the way from you, from Sean, from the D-aliens, to put forth in my craft about what I wanted my own show to sound like. And it's crazy still saying those words, but lo and behold, about 2.5 weeks ago now, I found out that the Pat Boyle show was going to be coming to the Infinity Sports Network and to overnights around the country on Odyssey. And it's still surreal, man. It's still surreal that it's, when you first got your own show, how that must have felt. And like you said, starting out in the overnights, it's a journey, but the words aren't doing it justice. I show up, and I just try to put my best effort into the show every single day, man. And it's 4 hours of zaniness and madness and passion. And I'm just hoping that I can, continue to do that for a long, long time.
It's amazing. I remember the first job that I had my name on the show was my first full-time job in Fort Myers, but I was there for a full year before they gave me a show. And when I heard my name from Voice Guy, when Voice Guy said my name, I was like, whoa. That is wow, because I was just a fill-in guy at that point in time. So Voice Guy always said somebody else's name, and I was filling in. That is an incredible moment, isn't it?
Yeah, when and if it took Pete the Body a little bit to get the Pat Boyle show liners to get going, but
well, some things never change.
No, I'm just joking. Pete's been fantastic. Me and Pete the Body working together. That's an incredible journey and pair on its own. But yeah, when I first heard like the third or fourth actual official show, you're listening to the Pat Boyle show. It's crazy. It is crazy, man. So it's, I'm still figuring it out here, doing 5 shows a week every single day and getting the sleep schedule in order. which is basically right now 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. for me. I don't know how you did it when you did the overnights, but the show for me is the last thing of the day. I pour in the last bit of energy and caffeine that I've got into doing that show, and then it's just an absolute conk out of epic proportions when I get back.
Yeah, same thing with me. I would go to sleep right after the show. Maybe 7 a.m., 8 a.m., I would finally fall asleep, and then I would sleep until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I would, though, get usually a nap in like around 11 p.m., which was dangerous. Maybe 10, but I would watch the early set of games, and then I would sleep for maybe an hour so that I was like recharged a little bit going into work. And then I would go in at like 12, 12:30, something like that, and then get ready for the show. But I can tell you that all the guys from the show are on a group chat. Myself, the Body, Mraz, Bogues, and Kat. And when everything was going down, we were all rooting for you. And when you got the job, we were all cheering, man. And I'm sure you heard from the guys in that building over there, but everybody was super proud of you. So great job. And I know that a lot of the listeners are right now in the chat saying the same thing, man.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, DA. And I appreciate it, man. It means a lot. And, you know, it's, like I said, I'm still trying to take things in stride, and life doesn't slow down. Even for me, who doesn't have kids but now has a girlfriend, I feel like my best days are behind me. But look, we all got to grow up at some point.
Oh, wow. Best days are behind you because now you've settled down?
Yes.
I guess I can interpret that as it's no fun anymore.
No, it is. I'm joking. But yeah, I mean, it feels like it's been a blur. So I don't know. I'm trying to enjoy every second of it, but you know, also watching the NBA playoffs, watching the Stanley Cup playoffs, and following the NFL every day. It's a beast. So it feels like the days just go, they fly by, the weeks fly by, which I guess, again, I'm 2 weeks in. I feel like that's a good thing, right? If it was slow and excruciating, that probably wouldn't be a good sign.
Yeah.
But it's been great so far.
Okay, before we get to Canadian Bacon, your thoughts on the Knicks taking a dominating 3-1 series lead in that series against the Pistons?
Yeah, look, I've been a bit apprehensive about the Knicks this year. I'm going to be honest here, DA, and I don't feel like a dog with the Knicks this year. I feel kind of like a scared little puppy, scared little kitty cat, because I do think the Knicks get brushed aside by the Boston Celtics in the second round. But then I said, you know what? Hold on here, because you got a superstar in Cade Cunningham. You got a young Pistons team that feels like the Knicks from 2 years ago. It feels like they're the Knicks. They're the younger Knicks staring back this different. No Julius Randle, no Dante DiVincenzo, no Knicks, no Derrick Rose. Thank God, no Elfrid Payton, but like Knicks of years past. And it's their younger version of them trying to knock them off their block here before we even get to the second round. And I have to worry about Jason Tatum hitting 19 threes in Mikal Bridges' face. So it was always like a lose-lose situation for me with the Knicks this series. That being said, you know, whatever this season ends up happening for the New York Knicks, if they lose in the second round in 5, this series means a lot. And this series means a lot for what the future of the Knicks organization is going to look like. So 2-1, and they really haven't been the better team in any of these games, if I'm being honest. Game 2 or game 1, Game 3 maybe, but even then the Knicks played great, and they still only ended up winning by 2 points. They needed 21-0 run in game 1 just to win it. I was nervous. And when Detroit's got the lead in the fourth quarter and Jalen Brunson limped to the locker room just a quarter before, now he's back, that was the first time I puffed my chest up a little bit, and I said, dog. Jalen Brunson back out on the floor. Dog. And Karl-Anthony Towns, who I've been calling Kitty Cat Towns for not showing up, finally in game 3 showed he's got some hair on his chest. And then in the final moments, you had Karl-Anthony Towns hitting some big shots. And I got a little louder, and I'm sitting on my couch, and I'm going, dog. That's a dog. And then to watch Josh Hart close out cleanly and not a foul on that final play with Pistons fans crying, and they got their cups and their mugs out looking for a foul. And I said, that's a dog. And that's a dog win for the Knicks to go up 3-1. So you know what? Let's close them out at the Garden at game 5. And then let's see what we can do against the Boston Celtics. But I'm getting there, DA. The belief is starting to come back that maybe after a year of frustration and not being able to beat the best teams and getting crushed by the Celtics and the Cavaliers, and Mikal Bridges put him on a milk carton for half the year because he can't do anything. Maybe I'm just starting to get a little twinkle in the eye, DA, that maybe there is something special to happen to this season after all.
Very nice. Very nice. Well done. Well, we had to have you back, not only to coronate you, the new king of overnight radio, but also for Canadian Bacon. Aiden Hatton, take us away.
A dog. Well, DA, this is no prank call. This is no smoke screen. DA was on the clock with the number 1 overall Canadian Bacon draft pick and decided to call up Pat Boyle, the dog of dogs, the king of Canadian Bacon. And he said to me, is your rain still ever so salty? So, Pat Boyle has decided to come back to Watch D.A. live and deliver a 5-oinker on your candy asses that you've been dreaming of. A Canadian Bacon that you didn't even know you needed, but one that you subconsciously dreamed of in your sleep. And like Freddy Krueger, I am your nightmare. I am your dream. So let's descend upon the Stanley Cup playoffs like Jack Solbrick descended upon his dad's iPad. Let's start in Sunrise, Florida yesterday. Where at Sunrise, it's normally a chirp fest among the chicks and birds, but in this series, it's become a chirp fest among the coaches. In Game 2, Tampa Bay's Brandon Hagel crushed Florida's Alexander Barkov with a hit that earned a 5-minute major. Panthers coach Paul Maurice said after the game, the only players we hit are the ones that have pucks. In this game, Matthew Tkachuk returned the favor on Tampa Bay's Jake Getzel, putting him in a pretzel, prompting Lightning coach John Cooper to say afterwards, the only players we hit are the ones with pucks. Touché, gentlemen, like a middle school cat fight. Let's get petty. First period, Matthew Tkachuk put the puck behind Vasilevsky, who must have thought he was Vaselinevsky because it slid right past him. But that was the only purring the Panthers would do. Braden Point was on point later in the period, getting a point by a virtue of a goal to bring the Lightning even. The lone goal in the second period came from Nick Paul, a dude with 2 first names, and the misfortune of sharing the last name as those losers Jake and Logan. And that had the Lightning thinking they could strike twice in one spot. And then there was a trio of goals in the third as Tampa Bay finally crackled the sky after losing both of the first 2 games at home. The Lightning found a message in a bottle and policed their way to a 5-1 win, and they'll look to get another road win on Monday to tie the series. We move over to the Excel Energy Center, where Microsoft Word said to Microsoft Teams, let's get a spreadsheet going here in St. Paul, and Peter was robbed for a Game 4. It's lyrical gold right there, folks. Think about that last sentence while I hit you with some highlights. Golden Knights in the Wild, Minnesota up 2-1. There was never or nary a lead larger than 1 goal in this hotly contested affair. You could cut the tension with a knife or a razor, a barber's razor. We pick it up in overtime where it's 3 apiece, and the Wild made a wild mistake to turn it over in their own defensive zone. The Knights had a golden opportunity, and they didn't let their armor down. The puck pinballed in front of the cage, where Ivan the Great Barbashev took his razor and plunged the puck into stone with an emphatic Excalibur.
He's played over 24 minutes in Game 3 with a steal. Smith looking to move it in down low. Center to Middleton. Blocks it. It's loose in the crease. Score! Ivan Barbashev puts it home. The Golden Knights win to tie the series.
Ivan Barbashev took the Wild to the woodshed as Vegas fans cracked open a cold bev with hops coming to the top in the form of sweet victory. The Wild now pack their bags and hope to get lucky in Game 5 back in Vegas with the series tied at 2 apiece. We head to the Great North for the Battle of Ottawa as the Senators tried to legislate against a sweep, but the Maple Leafs said, "Oh, sorry, we're gerrymandering here. Sorry, eh?" On the brink of elimination, Ottawa watched as the Maple Leafs flipped the house from 2 goals down and then flipped the Senate in the last 6 minutes of the game, erasing another deficit to tie the game at 3 goals all. That meant free playoff hockey and a search for an overtime ending man. with less than 3 minutes to go in the extra period. Legs growing weary, Canadians growing thirsty for more Molsons or Labatt or even La Fin du Monde. Somebody came up with the Fin de Game. As the puck bounced off the boards, Ottawa's Jake Sanderson turned into Jake the Snake and slithered over to throw the puck on net, and it caught Toronto's Anthony Stolarz off guard. They declined his card, and Sanderson laughed to the bank as Senator fans screamed, "Sing us a song! You're the overtime ending man!"
It goes off the shoulder of Stolarz, which means it was about 7 feet high. Oh, Sanderson with a shot, scores! Sanderson with the goal from the point. Ottawa lives another day.
Jake Sanderson's wrister off a feed from Tyler Clevin.
The Senators adjourned for recess. They vetoed the sweep, but now pack their bags for a short trip to Toronto, where the Leafs will hope to pour maple syrup on top of a fourth win and a series clincher on Tuesday. Finally, we head to Ball Arena, where the 2022 holders of Lord Stanley's Cup, well, their cup had runneth dry after losing the last 2 games, and the Stars were looking to shine bright like a diamond. But the Avalanche found love in a hopeless place, jumping out to a 2-0 lead after the first period. We picked things up in the second, where Gabriel Landeskog was just hoping to play some good hockey. After all, the last game, Game 3, was his first NHL action in 3 years after devastating setbacks from knee injuries. But sometimes you have to look through the fog to see the light. And Landeskog navigated through the smog of Stars defenders before taking the bull by the horns and the lamp by the log. And he said, "Let there be light."
Brock Nelson trying to make it not matter. Nelson, the need for speed. Landeskog! Yeah! Oh, Captain! My Captain! Welcome back, Cap! Gabe Landeskog!
It was a captain clapper as Landeskog tied the series at 2 games apiece. And that, DA, is your Canadian bacon.
Oh my God, there's only one score we can give him. Aiden, give him the 5 oinker. Do what's right. Give him the 5 oinks, for crying out loud. If we could give you more oinks, we would. We had people in the comments said, give him 1,000,000 oinks. This is perfect. This is what we all needed. Shoot this into our veins. The comments, overwhelming. Boyle, where do I begin? I am your nightmare. I am your dream, like Freddy Krueger. Let's get petty. Amazing. You say you dropped a Jack Olbricht descending on an iPad? Unbelievable reference, which is, by the way, the kid that pranked Shedeur Sanders and the Falcons had to apologize. Message in a bottle policed their way to a lead. The Canadian accent, sorry, so sorry. The fin du monde to the fin de game. And my favorite line, perhaps, in Canadian bacon history, the Senators vetoed a sweep. That's amazing. Boyle, you hit on all fronts. Well done.
Thank you, DA. I got some nostalgia writing up that script, and I had to pour everything I had into it, man. It was a little long, as they normally are when I do them, but hopefully you were able to kind of follow along as best as you could.
Well, I think because we do this so infrequently now, the longer was actually okay. If we were doing this every day during the Stanley Cup playoffs, you probably would have been graded down, maybe a quarter oink. You know, look, Bellotti was a tough grader, but he always loved your Canadian bacon, specifically also to Raz Mraz. So he might have given you a 4.75, but we all needed this because we've been missing Canadian bacon. And you should just, the comments Aiden's thrown up there right now. He was born for this. This is so good. This is his best work ever. And by the way, we had Mraz do Canadian bacon, and he missed the overtime ending, man, his own signature call. So the fact that you got it in gives bonus points as well.
Thank you. Yeah, sometimes that pen just catches fire. And, once I got going, I couldn't stop. But I'm glad that you guys enjoyed it. Seeing all these comments from loyal D aliens is phenomenal. It's great stuff, man.
Your show, if those can't listen to it overnight live, it's always available in podcast form as well, right?
Well, we're in the process of creating the page for the podcast.
Okay.
That is, I'll leave that to the folks that are higher up.
Okay. So
but you can always listen on the Odyssey app for sure. Either earlier in the day, and the great thing that Pete is doing, he's titling all the segments. So you can always listen. Obviously don't listen during DA's show, but later in the day, if you're looking for more, if you're looking for some Pat Boyle, yes, you can listen on the Odyssey app, and you can pick which segment you want to listen to. They're all titled depending on what the topic was. So it's very easy.
So in that way, you can listen to it outside of the live hours 2 until 6 a.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, and I think the app has the show archived for the whole week.
Yeah.
So like if you want to listen back to Monday's show, if it's Thursday, you should be able to.
So I think that's what people mean when they say podcast. You're actually talking about like boiling the whole thing down, pardon the pun, and like making it a podcast available on like all the podcast platforms.
Yes, when you want to, like you listen back whenever all the shows archived on Apple Podcasts, whatever, like you said, wherever podcasts are found. Yes, their higher ups are still in the process of creating the actual podcast, however you would describe that.
So, okay. So Odyssey app is just all you need. You can listen to Boyle live or after it happens as well.
Yeah. And then I would say probably in about at most, hopefully a week's time from now, you can find the show in typical podcastable fashion, wherever you get your podcasts.
We've had a lot of people ask if you're going to be at Bob's Bar. That is a work night for you, because when you do the overnights, your Sunday night is your first day of the week. And so I know you'll have to get to the studios that night, so there will not be a lot of beverages in Boyle during the day. I know you got a lot of stuff, plus your family's golf outing is the day before, which is a big deal. And so we know that. So if you could make it, awesome. If not, we totally understand. But obviously your presence is requested by all the D-aliens.
Yeah, and I'm going to do my absolute best to try to make it. You laid it out pretty nicely. Got a show later that day. Got my family's golf outing the day before, which, DA, the first one without my dad, it's going to be an emotional one, and it's going to be a big one. So I will do my best to get out to East Babylon, West Babylon, wherever the hell Bob's Bar is, or Blobs by the Bay. I will do my best to get out there on that Sunday, the day after.
West Babylon. Don't get lost. We'll have to go to the search party for you if you go to East Babylon. But all right, man. Well, thanks so much. We love you, dude. And we're proud of you. Congratulations. And thanks so much for carving out time for us tonight.
Love you, brother. You're the best, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for all your help and for being a tremendous friend and a mentor and everything else that goes along with it. Aiden and you have done a fantastic job with this show every single Sunday. And it's awesome. And, all the best continued success, man, to you. And obviously everything you do Monday through Friday at Sirius with the DA show with Babchick. And the D-aliens are the best fans in the world, man. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And it's never wavered one day. The support and the following that you've gotten throughout your career and on your show, whatever platform you've done it on, is nothing shy of remarkable. So I appreciate all the kind things you said. And we'll have to run this back again soon.